Welcome back to Here They Lie. Last time we exited Chapter 6. We got back on the train from the cutscene at the beginning of the game, and then the chapter ended. Chapter 7 has begun, and we're not on the train anymore. We're outside in a ruin, glowing orange. We have seen the outside glowing orange before. Orange could mean the fireman. We did see him a couple times last time. Here's a box. What do we got? One of these?
I think in the core of humanity is good. People say, oh, you see all the evil. Even the evilest person will have an animal, dog. I'm talking, we got some evil people who, well, even society, as great as we are, will say they are evil. They did evil things, even as children, whatever. But they might have a dog. Why? Because they can show something love. I think that we are all made of love. But I believe at the core of every human being that exists is love.
Even evil people could own a pet. I never thought about it like that before. Anyway, here's a lake of orange. Do I walk down into it? I do. You know, I was just talking about the fireman. Looking at the recording, I did notice that when we got a good look at the fireman's face when he was giant and we were on the train, it looked like us, I think. I think the fireman is a giant version of us. It kinda looked like us. Kinda hard to tell since he was on fire, but face seemed pretty close. So what does that mean? Well, we saw the ruined city. It looked like that the fireman was... yeah, okay. I don't know how I'm going to run away from this. This seems a bit out of my depth. I am holding back on the analog stick as hard as I can. And everyone just died where they stood. In panicked position, so hey, Dana.
When I came back, this was all I found. A dead planet with nothing left of you but ashes. So I went away. And I tried to forget you.
Oh, this is the entire planet? It's not just one city? We did see some newspapers that said that headlines about destruction of a city. And of course we have been traveling through a ruined city. But is the entire world like this? She said she went away and when she came back...
But then, I thought... maybe I did want to see you again, so I created a place for you to come back to. This place. I'm sorry, I couldn't remember every detail of how it was. It's just been so long.
Are you God? Am I the representation of the last remnant of humanity? The last bit of humanity's soul that had not been wiped out in the fiery apocalypse?
Now it's up to you. You need to decide whether there's a way forward.
Alright, Dana, I can understand if this is a metaphor. Could you tell me what the people in the animal masks having sex with TVs was supposed to represent? I'm a little foggy on that particular metaphor. Well, it's not like I was going back. Well, it seems like I can't go forward. I also don't see a reflection of myself. There we go. In the door.
Pretty soon, you're gonna have to choose whether he lives or he dies. Whether everyone lives or everyone stays dead. I am sorry to put this burden on you.
I guess only one thing to do but to walk forward.
Ah, you made it. I knew you could. Buddy, I talked to Dana. I hate to tell you this, but she says this is it for you, pal. You're on the wrong side of the mirror. You and this place, you're gonna go away. But as for where I go, that's all up to you. Take my hand, and I get a second chance. All of us get a second chance. That hammer, that's the other choice. But you don't need to use that, because I've changed. I've learned so much from you. That bully in the sewers, you did the right thing. I see that now. And at the theater, you did everything you could, and all the other things you did in the city. I get it. I understand who I need to be. It's your call, buddy. And we're asking you to pull us out. It's what you're here for.
So you were watching.
Come on, buddy.
My choices mattered. My choices mattered. Someone was observing. Apparently people are in there with him. I don't see anyone, but apparently I must sacrifice myself so they may have a second chance. So am I Jesus?
This is your final act. Make it a good one.
Sure, why not? How do I take your hand? But there we go.
Thank you, buddy. I can't thank you enough. Just like I remember. I can't wait to get started.
I guess we stand out on a dead rock overlooking the earth as maybe we replanted the seed of humanity that destroyed themselves in, I guess, nuclear apocalypse. I guess the fireman represented the nuclear bomb, because what else would that have represented, I guess? It looked like us because we created it. Humanity created it, and humanity destroyed itself. I guess, that seems like as much of a thing to pull everything together as anything else could be. Right? Shout out to Peach's food truck. Right, so that interpretation, that basically is... That makes sense, right? We were wandering the city, the ruined wreckage of human civilization that had destroyed itself through nuclear war. The fireman was nuclear weapons. It looked like us because we created it. Dana, the source of light and goodness in the world that we've been chasing, was actually God. At the beginning, when she said, she was saying, do you want to try this again, like we were trying again at a relationship, she actually meant, do you think humanity should get another go of it, is what that was about. Honestly, I'm not really sure what the people with the animal masks pumping TVs was about. Like, I'm not sure what that has to do with any of this. Like, the Annihilation thing I understand. The Red Light District, I don't really know. I'm not sure about that one. Oh, the name was actually Buddy. I kind of thought he was just calling us Buddy, but no, our name was Buddy. The embodiment of the soul of humanity. His name is Buddy. Well, I actually really like this. As far as VR horror goes, this is probably my favorite game that I've played. I thought that the imagery was really good. I mean, when I first started playing, I didn't really know much about it. All I knew was that you explored an abandoned city, and that maybe it would be dangerous and there might be monsters. And yeah, that is what the first and second levels were about. But then you get into the third level, where you meet the remnants of civilization. You go into the Red Light District and all that. Chapter 4 had some really trippy, interesting imagery in the subway with the undulating tunnels and all the bright colors and such. And just like going forward, I thought that starting from Chapter 3 and going forward, I became a lot more interested in this game and what it was doing. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And, I'm not really thrilled about, these days, I'm not really that thrilled about a horror game in which the story is just sort of throwing imagery at you that doesn't mean anything, because, hey, you figure out the story. I'm not that big of a fan of that anymore. I do think they need to have some sort of story thread to tie everything together. They tried to do that at the very end with Dana is God thing, and it's okay, but I do prefer like a story that's more woven throughout the entire narrative and the imagery scene. And this game only kind of seems like it throws in at the very end there. Still, I did enjoy playing the game. Though one thing I would say is that all those notes and the sound bites we heard from people just sort of going off the top of the head on philosophy, I don't think those made the game any better. I think actually that made the game a little bit worse. They could have just cut all that out. Those notes didn't have anything to do with anything, and I'm not sure why anyone would want to hear the people talking about how, well, even an evil person can own a pet. Or that one guy who sounded a little bit stoned maybe, saying, who knows what really happens when you die, man. That guy, I don't know. Those didn't seem like they had anything to do with anything, and I picked them up because they're collectibles, and you have to pick up the collectibles, but honestly, I think I rather just wouldn't have picked them up. That was kind of weird. I don't know how that fit into anything. The controls were interesting. I did like how this game, even though you have hands in the game, they did avoid using the moves, because I've said before, the moves are kind of the weak link of PSVR. So they had this weird setup where you don't actually move your hands yourself, but rather when you meet something that you can interact with, you press a button and your hands automatically move. It worked well enough. Like, I didn't have any problem with the controls. I do know that when the game first came out, a lot of people complained about motion sickness. I never played the game when it first came out. This is post-patch, and the patch apparently had fixed a lot of things that people had trouble with concerning motion sickness. Yeah, I know. I know the control. I know. We've been using these controls. I know. It's not like I would be. Not like I could change them. Let's read this again. Non-rotating seat. No, I played standing up. I feel like if the character is standing up, you should be standing up in real life for the immersion. Turn with your head. That's how you turn. And well, sometimes you just have to actually press the analog stick to move in increments. But if you can move, if you want to rotate smoothly, you do so by turning your head. Better to walk than to sprint. You will know when to run. It's true. We did know when to run. We did. So, that was Here They Lie. And, you know, I guess there probably would have been an alternate ending, wouldn't there? We had the choice to shake the hand or use the hammer. Level select. Let's see, it's broken up into Start, Terminal, Turnstile, Old Town, Narrows, Haunting, Bellows, Concrete River, Rat's Nest. Okay, so the chapters are broken up into smaller areas. His place. Last stop, no exit. Miss. The Wheel, Cathedral. Cathedral's the last one. Yeah, sure. You want to see what happens if we use that hammer? I kind of want to see. I'm curious to know. And like I said, this game can be played outside of VR, I believe, with 2D mode, but this works really well in VR. Like, you know, a big thing about VR is the sense of place, the sense of immersion. And while I say that word with like a little mocking tone, the sense of immersion does work really well in this game. Okay, yeah, we just start off right here. Okay, that's good, because that means we're just going to get right to the smashing, I guess.
Soon, you're going to have to choose whether he lives or he dies.
I mean, I don't have any reason for him to
Whether
die.
everyone lives or everyone stays dead.
I don't know why I would want humanity to stay dead, but it is another ending, Dana, and I do need to see that other ending.
I'm sorry to put this burden on you.
I do like this perspective trick right here. This is pretty good. Like I said, some really good visuals in this. And I think that it's really enhanced in VR. So even though you could play this not in VR, I think this really benefits from being in VR. It has a really good sense of place. And I just really enjoyed, once I got the hang of things and figured out what I was doing, I really enjoyed my time in the world of Here They Lie. I guess I was asking who are they? I guess they must be humanity. Or the Earth is where humanity lies after it destroyed itself. Alright, let's go talk to Buddy. So I guess after our journey, we make the decision of, did humanity deserve to survive to begin with? Or is it good that they're dead? Maybe they shouldn't come back. Maybe, like after what we saw with the people in the animal masks brutalizing each other? Humping televisions?
I hate to tell you this, but...
Gosh, I've never seen such a thing.
This is it.
Surely humanity does not deserve to come back.
Wrong side of the mirror. You and this place, you're gonna go away.
You know, you said on the phone you killed a cat once.
But as for where I go,
and I don't approve of that.
all up to you.
So maybe you deserve to get hammered.
And I get a second chance.
Well, not everyone gets a second chance in life. Some deserving people never get a second chance.
That hammer?
Right there.
That's the other choice. But you don't need to use that, because I've changed. I've learned so much from you.
I mean,
that bully in the sewers.
If the hammer
did the right thing.
Wasn't a valid option,
I see that now.
Dana would not have left it here.
The theater. You did everything you could, and all the other things you did in the city.
I do kind of wonder what he would say if I had made different choices.
I understand who I need to be. It's your call, buddy.
Well, you know what call we're making.
You to pull us out. It's what you're here for.
Right now, I'm here for that hammer. I'm looking hard at that. There we
Come
go.
on, buddy.
There we go.
What are you doing? You're not thinking right. You're throwing it all away. Don't do it! Don't do it, buddy!
I mean, I did not see a glass shatter. Is that all? That seems abrupt. Tangentleman, I don't know if I would consider that to be an alternate ending. An ending there has to be something that happens after the decision, and there was barely anything that happened there, I'm gonna say. Well, even though not much happened there in this alternate ending, I guess they figured no one was gonna pick that because probably everyone for their first ending was gonna pick saving humanity, because sure, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Alright, not much there. That's a little bit of a sour note to leave off of, but I'm not going to let that ruin it. I'm going to say that I really enjoyed Here They Lie. I really enjoyed the visuals. I really enjoyed just like the monsters were pretty creepy. Like the humans who were wearing like the antler skulls creeping around, looking at you with glowing eyes, and you had to not look at them. If you stared at them, then they would notice you. You had to look away. There wasn't much of that in the game. I guess they didn't want it to wear out its welcome. Not much of that type of stealth gameplay. But what was there was pretty tense. Like I said, I'm surprisingly pleased with my time with Here They Lie, and I do think that this is the my favorite VR horror game that I've played so far, I do think. Well, this is also the last VR horror game that we're playing for the month of October. We've played a few. Some of them alright, some of them less than alright, but this was definitely the high point. Here They Lie, I think, is definitely the high point of the VR games that I played, at least from my perspective, as the one who's playing it. I don't know what it's been like from your perspective, as watching it. But this was, for me, this was the high point of the VR experience for October. Well, I hope you enjoyed this playthrough of Here They Lie. I hope you enjoyed the playthroughs of the VR games I've been doing in general in October. And I guess that's going to be it for the VR horror for right now. Not forever, not for always, just for now. It only takes so much scares after all. So much VR creeps, right? Gotta relax. Gotta get the heart rate down. The heart's pumping, the blood's pumping due to how frightened I am. Due to all the scares and monsters. But that's it for Here They Lie. That is it for VR horror. I hope you've enjoyed it because, well, I haven't enjoyed all of it. There were some frustrating parts with some previous VR horror games, but overall I enjoyed it, and this one I really liked. That's Here They Lie. That's been VR horror for October. I'll see you for something else. Boo.